What if I told you that one of Britain's most elusive mammals performs what appears to be funeral rites, carefully, deliberately burying their dead companions? Picture this, a badger set at dawn. The air is cool, the forest quiet. Then movement, not the usual bustling of foraging or play, but something slower, more deliberate. A group of badgers is gathered around a still form, one of their own, recently deceased. What happens next has puzzled naturalists for decades. Instead of leaving the body or simply covering it with leaves, they begin what can only be described as a burial. They dig, they nudge. They work together to carefully inter their fallen companion. This isn't random behavior. It's methodical, almost ritualistic. And it raises a profound question: do animals grieve? For centuries, we've assumed that rituals around death are uniquely human. That our cemeteries, our ceremonies, our ways of honoring the departed set us apart from the animal kingdom. But the badger's behavior challenges that assumption in the most fascinating way. Let's start with what we actually know about these creatures. Badgers are members of the mustelid family, relatives of otters, weasels, and wolverines. They're highly social animals, living in complex underground networks called sets that can house multiple generations. These aren't just random animals sharing space. They're families with established hierarchies, communication systems, and what appears to be genuine social bonds. Researchers have documented badgers grooming each other, playing together, and even showing clear preferences for certain companions. When one member of the group dies, the others don't just move on. Something remarkable happens. The first documented observations of badger burials came from wildlife cameras placed near sets. Researchers noticed that when a badger died, whether from natural causes, predation, or accident, other badgers would often discover the body within hours. What happened next was unexpected. They wouldn't just sniff and move away. They would begin excavating soil near the body, sometimes working for hours to create a shallow grave. Then, using their powerful front paws and snouts, they would carefully push the deceased badger into the depression and cover it with earth, leaves, and debris. The process was methodical, cooperative, and surprisingly gentle. But why would an animal go to such effort? The obvious answer might be hygiene. Removing a decaying body from the living area makes practical sense. Yet badgers have been observed burying dead companions far from the set entrance, in locations that don't pose any immediate health risk. Some researchers believe it might be about predator avoidance, concealing the scent of death to avoid attracting larger carnivores. But again, the behavior often occurs in areas where predator threat is minimal. The most intriguing theory, and the one that challenges our understanding of animal consciousness, is that badgers might experience something akin to grief. Consider what we know about animal emotions. Elephants have been documented revisiting the bones of deceased herd members, sometimes touching them gently with their trunks. Dolphins have been known to support dead calves at the water's surface for days. Primates show clear signs of depression after losing close companions. The badger's burial behavior fits into this growing body of evidence that many animals have complex emotional lives. We're only beginning to understand the process itself reveals fascinating details about badger society. Not every badger gets the same treatment. Researchers have noted that burial is more likely to occur when the deceased was a central member of the social group, an older female, for instance, or a particularly dominant male. Younger badgers or peripheral members are sometimes left where they fall. This selectivity suggests badgers might recognize social importance, perhaps even having some concept of individual value within their community. The methods vary too. Sometimes a single badger will perform the burial alone, working diligently for hours. Other times, multiple badgers cooperate, one digging while another positions the body, then both covering it together. There are even accounts of badgers returning to burial sites days later, as if checking on the spot. These variations hint at personal relationships and individual personalities within badger society. What's perhaps most striking is the care taken during the process. Unlike the frantic digging when creating or expanding a set, burial digging is slower, more deliberate. Badgers have been observed pausing frequently, sniffing the air, sometimes making soft vocalizations. They often use their snouts to gently nudge the body into position rather than dragging it roughly. The covering process is equally meticulous. They don't just kick dirt over the body, but carefully place soil, then leaves, then sometimes additional debris to camouflage the site completely. This behavior isn't limited to one region or species either. European badgers, American badgers, and even honey badgers have shown similar tendencies, suggesting this might be a deeply ingrained aspect of badger biology rather than a cultural behavior specific to one population. So where does this leave our understanding of animal consciousness? The badger's burial ritual sits at that fascinating intersection between instinct and emotion. It could be purely practical, an evolved response to disease prevention or predator avoidance. But the selectivity, the cooperation, the clear evidence of social bonds all point toward something more complex. Perhaps it's both. A practical behavior that has become intertwined with social and emotional components over evolutionary time. What's clear is that the badger's behavior challenges our assumptions about what separates humans from other animals. We've long believed that rituals around death, the acknowledgement of mortality, the honoring of the deceased, were uniquely human traits. But watching badgers carefully cover their fallen companions, we're forced to reconsider. Maybe the impulse to care for the dead, in whatever form that takes, is more widespread in the animal kingdom than we ever imagined. The next time you see a badger set, those carefully maintained entrances, the well-worn paths leading in multiple directions, remember that you're looking at more than just an animal den. You're looking at a complex society with its own rules, relationships, and perhaps even its own ways of dealing with loss. The badger's burial behavior reminds us that the line between human and animal experience might be thinner, more permeable than we thought. What other animal behaviors have made you reconsider what you thought about the natural world? Share your most surprising animal facts in the comments. We might feature your suggestion in our next exploration of nature's hidden wonders.